Hi everyone, welcome you all. My name is Pavan. So in this video, I'm going to explain you about Python inheritance. Now let's get started. So what is Python inheritance? So every object-oriented programming will support inheritance concept. This is one of the main component or one of the main concept of object-oriented programming. So what is inheritance? So normally we will create a class, right? So class can inherit functionality of other class. So what does it mean is, for example, there is a person called one. He's created one class, right? So what is the class contains? Class can have some logic, and some other person want to use the same class. Suppose he is also having one more class, let's say C2. This is a C1, and person 2 should want to use the class 1 which is already created by somebody else. So then what he can do is he will just extend this class into another class. So now what happens is the second class will get all the methods and properties, everything from the another class. So here it is called as a parent class, and here we call as a child class, or we can call parent class as a base class, or we can also call as a super class. And the child class is also called as a subclass, or we can also call as a derived class. So there are different names we have. So this is a concept of inheritance. So if an object is created using a class that inherits from the superclass. Suppose when I create an object for C1, so that particular object can access everything from C1, class 1. Suppose if I create an object for C2, that object can access everything from C2 as well as C1, because C2 already extended everything from C1, right? So this is a concept of inheritance. Now let us see what are the different types of inheritances we have. There are 5 types of inheritances we have. One is single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, and then hybrid inheritance. So hybrid inheritance is basically a combination of a hierarchical plus multiple. Okay. Now let us discuss one by one. So single inheritance means there is only one parent and one child class. So there is only one child class or one parent class. That is single inheritance. So multi-level means we have multiple levels, like one parent is having child and the child is having one more child like this. So we can create any number of levels like this. So B is acquired everything from class A and C get complete functionality from B. So like this we can create multiple levels. It is a multi-level inheritance. And then hierarchical inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance means multiple childs are having one parent class. So all the child classes having only one parent class. This is called hierarchical inheritance. And here B and is derived from class A. So class A is a single parent for both the classes, both the child classes. Now multiple inheritance is completely opposite of this. So the multiple inheritance, one child is having multiple parents. One child is having multiple parents. So C is derived from class A as well as class B. Now C contains the functionality of class A and also class B. So this is called as a multiple inheritance. So when you combine this multiple plus hybrid, multiple plus hierarchical, these two inheritances, it will form a hybrid inheritance. Right? So these are the 5 different types of inheritances supported by Python. Now let us see practical implementation for these type of inheritance. Let me open my PyCharm. So here I am just creating a new Python file. So I will name it as inheritance examples or inheritance demo. All right. Now, okay. So here I'm going to show you a very basic example of how to implement the interface. So let us create a class A, right? So this is a class A. In this class, I will create a function or method def. Let me name it as a m. So def m1, and self means this method is belongs to class A. Now inside this method, I will print something like I will print this is m1 method from which class? Class A, right? So this is the message I have printed within the method. Now similarly, I will also create one more class. Let me just create one more class, class B. Now this B will extend everything from class A. So I want to get the functionality, complete functionality from class A. Now how we should specify? Here in the bracket we have to specify the class name. So when I say A here, the B is another class which is getting the complete functionality from class A. Now B becomes a child class and A is a parent class of B class. Now in the B itself, I will create one more function, one more method. Let's say def m2, and here also I will print some message. Let's say print this is m2 method from class B. Alright, now I have just created two classes. Class A contains m1 method, class B contains m2 method, and the class B getting all the functionality from class A. We have specified like this, so B of A. So here we need to specify the parent classes. So now B is a child class, A is a parent class. Now B contains everything. That means when I create an object for class A, I can access only m1. I can call only m1 method. Suppose if I create an object for class B, I can call m2 as well as m1 because B already acquired everything from class A. Now let's create an object for these two classes. So first I will create an object variable for A. So let's say A obj. This is a reference variable. A obj is equal to A. Now I have created an object for class A. Now by using this object A obj, what are all things I can access? I can access only m1 function, m1 method. Right? Now when I run this code, this will give you, this is m1 method from class A. So now when I create an object for class B, now let's create B obj equal to B. So now I created an object for class B. Now with this object I can access m2 as well as m1 because B already acquired everything from class A. Now B obj, say B obj dot, I can call m1, right? So B obj dot m2. So I can also call m1, m2. So actually m1 is coming from class A, right? And m2 is actually coming from class B. So this is how we can access. Now let's run this code. Now you can see. So this is a output of this calling a obj.m1, and then after that I have called m1 and m2 two times. So here m1 and m2 have been called. So what we understood based on this example is we can create a subclass for the parent class. So here B is called as a child class, A is called as a parent class. Now when I create an object for only parent class, I can access methods from only that parent class. When I create an object for child class, I can access the method from the child class as well as parent class. Alright, so this is a basic example of inheritance. Now let us see how we can implement all kinds of different types of inheritance types. Okay, now let's remove this example. Now let's go to one by one. So we have talked about 5 types of inheritance, right? Single, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, and hybrid. Now just now what we have seen is single inheritance. Single inheritance means one parent class and I have one child class. We have only one parent for one child class, right? If we have like this, that is called a single inheritance. So what is the example we have shown you just now is a single inheritance because we have only one parent for one child. We have one parent for one child. So this representing the single inheritance. Now I'll show you one more example. Let's see different types of inheritance. The first inheritance I'll show you now is again one more example for single inheritance. Let us discuss about single inheritance. Now let's get started. So here I will create one more class called A, and this class I will also define variables now. Okay, I will define a few variables here. Let us say x comma y, and I will add some values 10 comma 20. So x is 10, y is 20. Now along with these variables, I will also create a method within the class here. Let us say def m1, self-representing this method belongs to class A. Now inside this method, I will just write a print function and print. And how we can access this class variable? So x and y are the class variables, right? So I want to print the sum of these two values, but we are in the method, right? So method means this is a local area. So if you want to access these class variables within the method, we must specify the self keyword, right? Self.x representing the class variable. So self.x plus self.y. Self.x dot plus self.y. So self is a keyword here we have to use whenever we want to access the class variable within the method. So we have seen in the previous video, right? So if you want to access the class variables within the method, we have to use self keyword, self.x plus self.y. Now similarly, this is the first class. Class A contains two variables and there is a one method. This method will add those two values, x plus y. Now I'll create one more class, class B, and this class B extended everything from class A. Now B is a child class, A is a parent class. Now in class B itself, its own variables. Let me just create A comma B. Let us say here 100 and 200. So again, class B contains its own variables A and B, which contains 100 and 200. Now here again, I will create one more method, def m2, and it not taking any parameter. This is belongs to B again. So here I will print the sum of these two values. So again, these two belongs to class, right? So how to access A and B? Self.A plus self.B. Now here I will just write print self.A plus self.b, right? So now this statement will add this A and B from class B. All right. Now let's come to the object. Now let's create the object for class B. So what we understood here is if I create a object for class A, we can call this m1 method, right? Internally m1 method will add these two values. Now when I create an object for class B, we can access these variables, or we can call this m12 method, and also we can call m1 method and also m2 method, because B is having its own method m2 and also it is extended everything from class A, right? It is also can call m1 method. So let me create an object for B class. Let's say I'll take small b, which is representing the reference object reference variable, and this is the object. Now b dot I call only m1 first. So when I call m1, so normally m1 is belongs to which class? M1 is belongs to class A, but still we are able to call here. Okay, so when I run this code, this will give you 30 exactly. So when I will call basically b dot m1 means it is called parent class method, that is m1, right? So m1 means it will print 10 plus 20, so 30 we are getting. Now by using the same object b dot I call m2. Now m2 is actually belongs to class B, so means it will access A and B here and it will add these two numbers. Now I run this, we'll get the 300 as an output. So based on this example, what we understood is here if you want to access this class variables, we have to use self keyword. And when I create a object for class B, it is already extended class A, right? So the A is a parent class of class B, so that we can access everything from class B along with the class A. So I have just created object for class B, and then I am able to call m1 method from class A, m2 method from class B. So this is the best example for single inheritance. We have only one parent class for one child. This is a single inheritance. Now let's move on to the next type of inheritance, that is multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Now let's modify the same example according to multi-level inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance? We have multi-levels of classes. So A is a parent class for B, B is a parent class for C. So like this we can create any number of classes. C is a parent class of D, like this. Now let's go to Python. Now here I will just modify the same code according to multi-level inheritance. This is multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance means we have to have multiple levels of multiple classes. So here A is there and B is there. So B is extended everything from A. Along with this, I will create one more class here, class C. And now C is extended everything from B. So this is called as a multi-level. So A to B and B to C. So now what C contains, you can see is also having few variables. I'll define two variables, I comma j is equal to, let's say 1 comma 2. I comma j is equal to 1 comma 2. Now C is also having its own variables, and I will also create a method here. Let's say def m3. Def m3. Now here I will print sum of I and j. So how to access again I and j here, because these are the two class variables, right? So self.i plus self.j. So now C is a class which is also contains its own variables, its own method, that is M3. Now A to B and B to C. When I create an object for B, what are all things I can access? M1 and M2. So here M1 is from class A and M2 is from class B. Now when I create an object for C class, so let's say C is equal to C. C is equal to C. When I create an object for C class, and what are all things I can access now? I can access M1 actually, which is from class A, and now again I can access for M2, right? So this is actually coming from class B, and C dot M3, and this M3 method, C is having its own method, right? So that is M3 method. This is again from C itself. So when I create an object for C, it is already extended from B, right? B already extended by A. So C is a child, so which contains everything from A as well as B. Now when I run this code, so the last three outputs we are getting at 30, 300 and 3. So M1 method, M2 method and M3 method. Okay, so this is called as multi-level inheritance. We can create any levels of classes. So A is a parent of B, B is a parent of C. This is called as multi-level inheritance. Now I'll show you one more type of inheritance is called as hierarchy inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance, we have only one parent class for two child classes. For two child classes, we have only one parent class, right? So let us modify the same code according to hierarchical inheritance. So what I can do is I will still have this hierarchical inheritance, right? Hierarchical inheritance. Now, so in hierarchical inheritance means in hierarchical inheritance how it will be? We have two parents. Let's say this is A and this is B, and there is only one child class. So this is called hierarchical inheritance. Sorry, what is that? This is not hierarchical inheritance. We have only one parent, can have multiple child class A to B and A to C. So B is acquired everything from A, and also C is also acquired everything from A. So this is called as a hierarchical inheritance. Now let's go to presentation one more time. So this is a one hierarchical inheritance. So one parent having multiple childs. One parent is having multiple childs. Now let us see how we can implement this hierarchical inheritance. One parent is having multiple childs. So let's say A contains the same thing. Let it have. Now B is extend to A. C is also extend from A. Okay, but there is no relate. B and C are nowhere related. So B is extend from A. So B is extend from A already there. Now C should be extended from A. So here instead of B, I will just say A now. Okay. Now this becomes a hierarchical inheritance. So now B is also child of A, C is also child of A, and B, C are the child classes of one parent, that is class A. So this represents the hierarchical inheritance. Now when I create an object for B, I can access everything from A as well as B. Suppose when I create an object for C, I can access everything from A as well as C. Right? So if I create an object for B class, what are all things I can access from A class as well as B class. And if I create an object for C, I can access from A class as well as C class. All the variables and I can call all the methods from A class and B class here. I can call all the methods from A and C class here. Now let us see here. So A is a parent class for B and A is also a parent class for C. Now here I created object for B class. So what are all things I can access? I can access M1 from A, M2 from B. So this is perfectly right. Now here C is object is created. When I created the C object, I can access M3, perfectly right. But what are all things I can access? From A, M1 I can access, but M2 I cannot access because B and C nowhere related. So M2 is invalid. Here it is invalid. This is invalid, right? So because M2 is from B class, so B class we haven't extended anything. So because these two are the child classes of parent class. Now this is invalid, we can remove this. So now when I create an object of B, we can access everything from A and B. When I create an object for C, I can access everything from A as well as C. So this is called as hybrid inheritance or hierarchical inheritance. So in this inheritance, we have one parent for multiple child classes. Now run this code. Now we will get the same output. So first two are the output of these two methods, and last two are output for M1 and M3. Got it? So this is a hierarchical inheritance. So far we discussed about a single inheritance, and then multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance. Now I'll tell you how to see the multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance means we have a two parent classes, let us say A and B, and by using these two classes we can create a one child class. So one child class get the functionality of two parents. This is called as a multiple inheritance. Now let's go to PyCharm now, and same thing I will do it now. So multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? We have two parents, let's say A and B, and C is a child class. C get the functionality from A as well as B. This is called multiple. Remember this. This is called as a multiple. Now let us see how we can do that. So I define A class. This is our A class. I'll just rename as a multiple inheritance. So A is a one parent class. B is also parent class for C. So but B and A nowhere related. So I'll just remove this one. Okay. Now B and A and B both are independent classes, nowhere related. But these two are the parents of C class. So along with the A here, we need to also specify the B. Now what happens is C becomes the child class of A as well as B. C is a child class of A and B. So C can access everything from his own variables and methods, and along with this everything from A as well as B. So let's create an object for C now. So from M1 I can call, and then M2 I can also call because M2 is from class B, right? And then I can also call C.M3. So this is actually from C class. Now when I create an object for C, I can access everything from C as well as from A, from B. So this is how we need to implement the multiple inheritance. Multiple means one child class can have multiple parent class. So A and B are the parent classes of one child class. Got it? So let's run this code once again. So we'll get the same output like this. Okay. So this is how we need to implement multiple inheritance in Python. So these are the actual type of inheritance: single, multi-level, hierarchical, and multiple. So hybrid is a basically combination of hierarchical inheritance and multiple inheritance. It will be like this. What is a hierarchical inheritance? A, and we can create two child classes. This is called hierarchical. Now the bottom portion will be multiple. So from these two parents again we have to create one more class. So in the upper portion it seems like a hierarchical, in the bottom portion it seems like a multiple, right? So to combine these two type of inheritances, it will form hybrid type of inheritances. So these are the different types of inheritances we have in Python. So almost all the programming, object oriented programming languages will support inheritance just like a Python. Fine. So that's all for this video. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel to get more updates on this. Thank you all.